So in this video, we're going to be working with solving radical and rational exponents equation, right? So my first step when I have any type of equation like this one is that I want to isolate the radicals. So I'm going to start by dividing by 3 so I can cancel out that 3 there. So I have 5 equals to the square root of 4n minus 7, right? And as you know, when we solve an equation, we're going to start by trying to isolate my variable, right? But first, I need to cancel out that radical. In this case, it's a square root. So that means that I'm going to square on both sides, right? Because the square is the opposite operation of the radical. So that means that I have 25 equals to 4n minus 7. And I'm just solving that equation right now. So plus 7 on both sides. So 32 equals 4n. Then I'm going to divide by 4. So that means that n is equal to 8. It's asking you to check for a standard solution. So let's check this. How are we going to check that? We're going to substitute that on the original equation. So 4 times 8 minus 7. So 15 equals to 3 times 4 times 8 is 32 minus 7. So 15 equals to 3 times the square root of 25. And 15 equals 3. The square root of 25 is 5. So 15 equals 15. So because this is true, that means that this is my solution and we don't have any extraneous solution. See the next one. So in this case, there's two ways of saying it, right? Because I have the same square root here, right? So that means that the only way that those two square roots are congruent is, or are equal to each other, is that the radicands, whatever is inside, is equal to each other. So the other way is that if you square here, I'm going to square over here, and as you can see, I can cancel out the equation, the radicals. So x minus 10 equals 3x minus 46. So I'm going to subtract the x on both sides. So negative 10 equals 2x minus 46 and plus 46 on both sides. So 36 equals 2x. And then I'm just going to divide by 2, so x equals 18. Again, let's check our work. So 18 minus 10, the square root, equals to the square root of 3 times 18 minus 46. So the square root of 8 equals the square root of 54 minus 46. So the square root of 8 equals the square root of 8. And because this is true, that means that this is my solution. So the next one, I'm going to start again by squaring on both sides. So I can cancel out the square root. So 41 minus 5x equals 2. Remember that this I have to FOIL. So I have x squared minus 2 times the first one times the second one. So 2x plus the second one squared. Right? Again, remember that I have x minus 1 times x minus 1. So I'm FOILing. And when you simplify that, you're going to have that expression there. Right? So now, because I have the quadratic term and the linear term, I need to move everything to the same side of the equation. So plus 5x plus 5x. So that means that 0 equals to x squared plus 3x minus 40. So two numbers that multiply give you 40, and you subtract and give you 3 are 8 and 5. So x plus 8 equals 0, or x minus 5 equals 0. So x equals negative 8, and x equals 5. Right? So now, I'm going to substitute right here. So the square root of 41 minus 5 times 5 equals 5 minus 1. So 41 minus 25 equals 4. The square root of 16 equals 4, and 4 equals 4. So I know that this is a solution. Let's check with negative 8. So 41 minus 5 times negative 8 equals negative 8 minus 1. So the square root of 41 plus 8 plus 40 equals negative 9. So 81 equals negative 9. So 9 equals negative 9. That's not true. So we know that this is not a solution. It's what is called a Stranion solution. Because even though that is part of the solution, once I solve this equation right here, it's not a solution of my original equation. Okay. So this one, I'm going to start by adding this square root on both sides because it's going to be easier for you to have a square root on each side of the equation. I have 1 plus the square root of 3x minus 6 equals to the square root of 2x minus 3. So now here I'm squaring. I'm squaring right here. So remember that this one again I'm going to FOIL. So this is 1 plus the square root of 3x minus 6 times 1 plus the square root of 3x minus 6. Right? So 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times the square root of 3x minus 6 is the square root of 3x minus 6. Now the square root of 3x minus 6 times 1 is the square root of 3x minus 6. And then plus the square root of 3x minus 6 square. So this, in this case, this cancels out. So I have plus 2 square root of 3x minus 6 plus 3x minus 6. So that means that here I have 3x. 1 minus 6 is negative 5 plus 2, 3x minus 6. So that's what I'm going to write right here. So 3x minus 5 plus 2, the square root of 3x minus 6 equals to 2x minus 3. Now I'm going to isolate this square root right here. So I'm going to isolate that. So I'm going to start by subtracting 3x on both sides. So this is negative 5 plus 2 square root of 3x minus 6 equals to negative x minus 3. Then I'm going to add 5 on both sides, so plus 5. So 2 square root of 3x minus 6 equals to negative x plus 2. Okay, so now I'm going to divide by 2 everything. So that means that I have the square root of 3x minus 6 equals to negative 1/2 x plus 1. Right, now I'm going to square both sides. I'm going to square on both sides. So 3x minus 6 equals 2. Again, the first one squared, so it's x squared divided by 4. So negative 1/2 squared. Right, again, I'm foiling there, remember, so plus 2 times the first one, half x, times the second one, plus the second one squared, so it's 1. So 3x minus 6 equals x squared over 4. This cancels out, so minus x plus 1. Alright, so minus 3x on both sides, plus 6 on both sides. So 0 equals x squared fourth minus 4x plus 7. Right? And right here, I want to cancel out that 1/4 from here, so I'm going to multiply everything times 4. So I can cancel out. So equals to, this is 0, x squared minus 16x x squared minus 16x plus 28. Now two numbers that you multiply and give you 28 and you add and give you negative 16 and negative 14 and negative 2. So x minus 14 equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0. So x equals 14 or x equals 2. Now let's check. Right, first standard solution. So 1 equals to the square root. Let's start with the 2. 2 minus 3 minus the square root of 3 minus 6. So 1 equals 4 minus 3 minus the square root of 6 minus 6. So 1 square root of 1 minus the square root of 0. This is 0, so 1 equals 1. Right? Now let's do the same with the 14. So 1 equals the square root of 2 times 14 minus 3 minus the square root of 3 times 14 minus 6. So 1 equals 28. So 28 minus 3 equals minus the square root of 42 minus 6. So 1 equals the square root of 25 minus the square root of 36. So 1 equals 5 minus 6. 1 does not equal negative 1. So I know that 14 is not a solution, so my solution here is x equals 2. Okay, so now I have this as a rational exponent. Remember that that's the same as the square root, so the same way I can square on both sides. I can square on both sides. This is going to cancel out. So that means that I have 9 equals 3 minus 3. So plus 3 on both sides. So 12 equals 3. Right? Let's check the solution. So that means that 3 equals to 12 minus 3 to the 1 half. So 3 equals 9 to the 1 half. Remember that again, that 1 half is the square root. So that means that the square root of 9 is 3. So that means that 12 is my solution. Okay, so right here, the same. I'm going to square it. Right? Remember that if that exponent, let's say it's 1 over 3, then I'm going to cube. Right? So 2x plus 12 equals 2. Again, the first one square plus 2 times the first one times the second one. So 2 times x is 2x times 2, because it's 2 times the first one times the second one, so it's 4x plus the second one squared, so 4 minus 2x minus 12. So this is 0 equals x squared plus 2x minus 8. So I can factor that as x plus 4, x minus 2. So x plus 4 equals 0, x equals negative 4, x minus 2 equals 0, so x equals 2. Right? So again, I'm going to check. So 2 times 2 plus 12 to the 1 half equals to 2 plus 2. So 4 plus 12 to the 1 half equals 4. So 16 to the 1 half. So 4 equals 4. So this is a solution. Right? Just by looking at the other one, I know that it's not a solution, and I'm going to tell you why. So negative 4 plus 12 to the 1 half equals to negative 4 plus 2. This side is going to be negative, right? So because we don't have any negative, we're not multiplying times any negative outside. I know that this part is going to be always positive. Let's finish it so you can see it. So negative 8 plus 12 to the 1 half. So 4 to the 1 half. And 2 does not equal to negative 2, so this is not a solution. Okay, so again here, I'm going to start by squaring on both sides. I'm going to square on both sides. So this cancel out, so 4x equals 2. The first one squared, so 3 squared minus 2 times the first one times the second one, so 3 times 6x plus 9 to the 1 half, plus the second one squared, so 6x plus 9, 6x plus 9 to the 1 half squared. So 4x equals 9 minus 6 times 6x plus 9 to the 1 half plus this cancel out, 6x plus 9. So let's simplify. So 4x equals to 6x plus 18 minus 6 times 6x plus 9 to the 1 half. So minus 6x, so 2x, negative 2x equals 18 minus 6, 6x plus 9 to the 1 half. Now minus 18 on both sides. So negative 2x minus 18 equals negative 6 times 6x plus 9 to the 1/2. Right here, I'm going to divide by negative 6, everything by negative 6. So that means that I have x over 3 plus 3 equals to 6x plus 9 to the 1/2. Right here again, I'm going to square on both sides. I'm going to square on both sides. So this cancels out, and I have the first one square plus 2 times the first one times the second one plus the second one square equals to 6x plus 9. This is x over 9 equals to plus. Remember that this 3 cancel out, so I have plus 2x plus 9 equals 6x plus 9, and I'm missing this square right here. Now I'm going to, again, I have linear term and quadratic term, so minus 6x minus 9 minus 6x minus 9. So x squared over 9 minus 4x equals 0. This cancel out right here. Equals 0, right? So again, I'm going to start by multiplying everything times 9. So I can cancel out the fractions. So x squared minus 36x equals 0. Right here, I can factor out an x. So x minus 36 equals 0. So x equals 0, and x minus 36 equals 0. So x equals 36. Right? So now, let's check our work. Start with the 0. So 4 times 0 to the 1/2 equals to 3 minus 6 times 0 plus 9 to the 1/2. So 0 to the 1/2 equals to 3 minus 6. This is 0, so 9 to the 1/2. So 0 equals 3 minus 3, and 0 equals 0. So we know that that's a solution. So we know that 0 is a solution. Let's check the 36. So 4 times 36 to the 1/2 equals to 3 minus 6 times 36 plus 9 to the 1/2. So 144 to the 1/2 equals to 3 minus 216 plus 9 to the 1/2. So 12 equals to 3 minus 225 to the 1/2. I'm right. So 12 equals 3 minus 15. 12 does not equal to negative 12. So we know again that this is not a solution. And that's it for this lesson. May the force be with you.